Welcome back. I have an awesome video today. It's a series of videos. Hopefully you'll watch all of them. I'm starting with a Nintendo controller, old school. It's a replica. I've got an Arduino Nano and a Nokia 5110 old cell phone display, like old, from the 90s. What I'm going to do is hook it all up and we're going to make a tiny little game console. Pretty neat. We'll see. The first thing we'll have to do is figure out how to connect it together. I'm going to use a breadboard for that, but first we're going to take a look at the pins on the Nintendo controller. I'm going to be looking at things about like this, facing the plug. Just going to draw it out here, if I can. The pin at the very top by itself is the ground. Hopefully you don't need an explanation of that. Next down from it to the right, VCC. That's actually our 5 volts DC supply. Then we've got our clock pin. This is a serial communication. Down from that is latch. Don't worry about it. It's complicated. We won't need to get into it or know how to do it. And then at the bottom here, we've got data. This is the pin that carries the information about the pin states. These other two are not important, so we're not going to talk about them. In order to plug in here to the end of the Nintendo controller, I've made these little wires. They're a couple inches long, but the most important thing is that one end is folded over, so it makes them a little thicker, so it doesn't fall out. You'll see what I mean. We're going to try to put the wires into the end of the controller and into our breadboard. Let's do it now. Okay. So here's our controller end. We're basically just going to start plugging our wires in. In the ground pin up top here, see if you can remember these. I'm going to use black. Red I'll use for the VCC, 5 volts. The latch pin, the clock pin, I'll use yellow. See, if you try to put the single end in, it just falls out. So I folded them over so that it grabs a little bit. Down from that, we've got latch. Did you remember that? I'm going to use blue. And finally, the all-important data pin. I'm using black again because I don't have enough colors. All right, there we go. We've kind of probed our controller outputs. Let's connect up to the board to get this stuff going. I'm going to use the power rails on the board, so we're just going to plug into the ground and 5 volts. And the next 3 pins, I'm actually going to use a little header pin for that. I'll show you how it works. We'll do it now. Plug that in. And up next to it, we're just going to go clock, latch, and data. So we're using 3 or 4 of those. All right, we are connecting this to the Arduino Nano. Plug it in there. Just pick a central spot. First, we'll connect the power up. You'll see on this model we've got a 5 volts output here. We're going to go from 5 volts just to anywhere on the power rail. And also, same thing with ground. Just make sure you hit the right ones, the right pins. Okay, I've got another header to come over. We're going to go to the digital pins. Got another header to connect up. And this wire that plugs in. We're just going to go down the line. We're going to plug into digital pins 4, 5, and 6 to represent the clock, latch, and data pins respectively, and we'll configure that in software. And even if your connection is a little bit different, we'll just match the numbers up and get it moving. Alright, so I think that's it. Yeah, let's connect up and we will start coding on the Arduino to see if our controller works.